Nahoo, 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 Nahoo.
Hi, I'm DAMISSIE. This is Nahoo Tv. Here I am at the Indian Embassy. In a few moments, I'm going to speak to the Indian Ambassador in Addis Ababa. India and Ethiopian relationship has more than 2,000 years. The first modern Indian and Ethiopian relationship began in 1948 after India got her independence. So, do me a favor, be seated, relax, and keep watching this channel. Ethiopia and India has a long relationship, more than 2,000 years. The first modern Indian and Ethiopian relationship began in 1948, right after Indians got independent from British colony. Ambassador, thank you so much for having us and congratulations for Independence Day. I know you were celebrating it for the whole years. How do you value this nation independence?
Thank you. And welcome to the Indian Embassy. India got its independence in 1947, 15 August, and became a republic on 26 January 1950. So we will be celebrating the Republic Day tomorrow. We were under the British colonial rule, and the leaders of that generation had led the people of India in a non-violence freedom struggle. And I also want to give credit that actually the leader of the Indian freedom movement, Mahatma Gandhi, got his idea or inspiration from South Africa. So actually Africa occupies a very important space in the national thinking in India. In 1939, when foreign forces had entered Addis Ababa, actually the people of India organized mass demonstration to show their solidarity with the people of Ethiopia. So I feel that it is so appropriate for us to be celebrating India's Republic Day at the embassy here tomorrow in a country like Ethiopia, where we have always expressed solidarity for each other. This will be the 75 years of India's independence, and for the next 1 year, we will be organizing a lot of events, a lot of cultural events, to celebrate our friendship. So it is not only in Addis Ababa that we are going to organize events. We will be organizing in almost all the regions of your beautiful country. We are also going to release a joint stamp, a commemorative stamp to celebrate the 75 years of India's independence. And because Ethiopia is was one of the earliest countries from Africa to establish diplomatic relations with India, so we will also be celebrating 75 years of glorious diplomatic relations between our two friendly countries. And the third important aspect is also Ethiopian Airlines is going to celebrate 50 years of its glorious operations in India. So we have, I would say, we have major events that we are planning. The Indian Embassy in Addis Ababa is going to organize lots of events in association or collaboration with the Ethiopian government. And I also believe that the Ethiopian Embassy in New Delhi will be also celebrating or will be organizing lots of events. So for the next 1 year, we will be having lots of events together.
as you mentioned, Ethiopia is the only African country who hasn't been colonized, and we celebrate the victory days, not independent days. Since we established this, the value of independent nation and people, could you kindly enough to explain to Ethio and Indian relationship? I know you mentioned it, but in depth we have quite a lot of similarity, cultural, economical, and the way we value our religion, most of it similar. So could you explain that?
I think you had rightly pointed out in your opening remarks that we have been in contact for the last 2,000 years. People say that Ethiopia is the land of origins and India is an ancient civilization. So that means both the countries, both the peoples have been in touch for the last thousands of years. And it was trade that brought us together. And through trade, we have been exchanging ideas. We have been influencing each other. So that is why today the Ethiopian spice and Indian spice are similar. Your famous Ethiopian injera is also similar to the Indian dosa. And when we visit Lalibela, you see the famous rock-hewn churches. Many experts have pointed out that the rock engineering of Lalibela, the famous churches in Lalibela, and the rock temples in South India are similar. So it is through this contact that we have influenced each other. Let's say about 400-500 years ago, Ethiopians have gone to India, and over the following years, actually some of them rose up in the society there, and some of them even became very famous generals. We have Ethiopians who have established their dynasties or their kingdoms in India. Ethiopians have built 2 famous forts in Western India. And the forts are still there. Some Ethiopians have also built famous monuments in Eastern India. And today, there are about 30,000 Indian nationals called the Siddhis. Many believe their origins are from Ethiopia. So we already had contacts. The other way around, we used to have about 150 Indian families in Dire Dawa and Addis Ababa, and they are mainly from Gujarat. Yes, over the years they have left, but today we have about 50 families who have lived here for the last 4 or 5 generations. And they consider themselves as Ethiopians and have made Ethiopia their home. And the good part is that they have always been accepted by the Ethiopian people. Also, if you would recall, during the imperial times, we used to have thousands of school teachers from India. Most of them were from Kerala, and many of them even taught in the remote areas of this country. Yes, over the years, many of these school teachers have gone back to India, but some of them have stayed back. Either they are married to Ethiopians, or they have made Ethiopia their home, and they are all, and some families are still here, the teachers. If you would recall, the Harar Military Academy was actually established on the lines of the Indian Military Academy in Dehradun. So the first 3 commandants of the Harar Academy, the military academy, were Indian army officers. Yes, Harar Military Academy was closed following the invasion from Somalia. Today we don't have Indian army officers, but as I'm saying, is that our relations cover all aspects. We also have today about 1,000 to 1,500 Indian professors and lecturers teaching in various public universities in Ethiopia. So again, this is another aspect. The most visible aspect of our relations today in contemporary times is the business aspect, because we have about 650 Indian companies who are registered with the Ethiopian Investment Commission. And I believe about 400 of them are very active. Most of them are in manufacturing and followed by agriculture. So around in Addis Ababa and around Addis Ababa, you have the major concentration of Indian companies. But Indian companies are also present everywhere. You go to Gambela, you have an Indian investment in tea. You go to Kaffa region, you have an Indian investor who has set up a coffee plantation farm. You go to the SNPPR in Gamo Gafo, you have two Indian investments they have set up banana farms in the southern region. In Havasa, you have about 7-8 Indian companies at the industrial park. Bolelemi, you have 3 big Indian investments. And these 3 companies in Bolelemi employ about 10,000 Ethiopian nationals. Our estimation is that cumulative Indian investments is about $5 billion, of which $4 billion is on the ground. And we estimate that all Indian factories employ about 75,000 Ethiopian nationals. So the economic aspect is very, very important, and it is very evident.
Oh, thank you so much. And since you mentioned all this economic relationship with Ethiopia, loyal friends of Ethiopian country is India. I'm not saying this to make you happy, but it's true. Recently, the United Nations Security Council repeatedly called emergency meeting on Ethiopia. Some countries just denying the truth and standing for their own interests. But your country were once again, like the colonial time, standing with Ethiopia. And we really thank you for that. And what was your reason? Is it because of the countries, the people's value of truth and justice and equity?
I think I can only talk for India on behalf of the Indian government. What India has always stated at the United Nations Security Council is that what is happening in Ethiopia should be an Ethiopian matter. It should be resolved according to what Ethiopia wants. It should respect the territorial integrity of Ethiopia. It should be Ethiopian-led, and whatever solutions that the Ethiopian people want for the ongoing situation, what we have always stated very clearly is that Ethiopia should decide its own future and should bring up its own solution to the issue.
Recently, most African countries are claiming to have in United Nations Security Council to have a permanent seat. What's your country position?
India has 1.2 billion people. What India has said is that any organization that represents the world or any multilateral fora or forum should reflect the reality on the ground. So what India has been saying is that any arrangements within the UN should reflect the reality where India represents maybe 1/7 of the global population, and it is our right to have a place in the UN Security Council. In the same way, Africa as a continent has 1.3 billion people. Yes, the countries in Africa have also taken this stand that they should be rightly represented in the UN Security Council. Coming back to the Indian investments here in Ethiopia, a typical Indian investor is not going to show that this is my factory or this is my investment. They will come quietly, set up their factory or factories in one corner, and because it is their life saving, they are never going to leave this country. So that is why, despite the developments that you had mentioned about, many Indians have adopted Ethiopia as their home, and I don't think they are going to leave. So that is the context that I would like to mention, because you had mentioned about Indian nationals not living during that time. But this is the reality. They have made Ethiopia their home, and they are never going to leave this country. I think one way of answering you is that I can only speak for myself. Indian nationals, as I told you, have made Ethiopia their home, have made their investments, and wherever any person has invested his or her life savings, I think they are not going to leave that country. They'll always make that country their home. And we have about 6,000 or 7,000 Indian nationals who are presently in Ethiopia, and for them, this is their home. The other aspect that I would like to mention is that there is one similarity between Ethiopia and India, that is, we have diversity. You have more than 80 ethnic groups. In India, we have more than 1,000 dialects or languages. Every 100 or 200 kilometers that you travel, we have different people, different food habits. What I'm only saying is that both the countries, we have diverse peoples. And I think, give credit to the two countries, we have preserved that diversity. And actually, in both the countries, we are celebrating what we call unity in diversity. I think many people globally actually can learn from Ethiopia and India in how we have managed to preserve our diverse cultures. Our people are speaking different languages. People are having different food habits. People are professing different faiths, different religions. And despite all these differences, we are prospering as countries. And I think when India celebrates its Republic Day and Independence Day, when you celebrate your Victory Day, we are saying that, learn from us. We are celebrating what we call unity in diversity.
Perfect. As you mentioned it, we are diverse nation, and India and also exactly the same position.
When I travel around your beautiful country, I'm actually pleasantly surprised to come across Ethiopian people actually who speak Hindi. And when I ask them how they have learned or how they know Hindi, actually they tell me that they learn Hindi by watching Indian movies, Hindi movies. It was really surprising. I was very pleasantly surprised and in a way encouraged, because Indian movies have also brought the two people together. This is a small example. You have Ethiopian nationals who have studied in India. Actually, they are the ambassadors between the two countries. They have brought both the peoples together. I had talked about the 50 years of Ethiopian Airlines operating in India. Look at this way. Ethiopian Airlines has connected the people of India with Ethiopia and beyond.
Thank you, Your Excellency, Ambassador Robert. You stay here a year now?
Yes.
Okay. Have you listened to Ethiopian music?
Yes.
Yet? Which one? And do you have a favorite singer?
Actually, I listen a lot to Tedros.
Teddy Afro?
Yeah, Teddy Afro. I listen to him. And of course, I also listen to other singers, but Teddy Afro, no? I would not be exaggerating, but I listen to his song almost every morning. So, have you visited India?
No, I haven't.
Okay. Actually, I just want to mention about this as a parting shot, because Ethiopia and India are developing countries, and we need to develop the capacity building of our people. So since 1969, India has been providing training programs, short-term training programs for Ethiopian nationals in India.
And thank you so much for having us, and we wish you all the best and congratulations for your 75th of your
Yes.
independence. Yes.
Once again, thank you so much.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you so much for watching us. Till next time, this is Nahoo TV.
So I want to show you this building. So what happened was during the imperial times, there were Indian nationals who were engineers working with the Majesty, so or masons. Yeah. So this his family is still here in Addis Ababa. They are living in what is that central area called?
That's the piazza.
They are still there in Piazza. It's more. I think it's 100 year plus. I think. So what happened is today the Ethiopian government has declared these buildings as heritage buildings. So they have to be preserved. So earlier this building used to be the residence of our first secretary in the embassy. The embassy used to be there. One simple structure was there. But after we built a new building, from the embassy, we have decided to preserve this building in fulfillment of the legislation of the Ethiopian government. So this will become our will host our library.